because it's about 331 words. And a lot of people have said to me, that's a lot of words. You know, for a plaque, can't you make it like shorter? And when I was at the Denmark Vesey Monument, I counted the words on that plaque. 517 words. So if a slave who was an ex-slave, ex-enslaved person, who got his freedom, led a revolt, and then was executed, deserves 517 words, doesn't John Calhoun deserve 331? So here is what I would suggest. John C. Calhoun served America as vice president, senator, secretary of war, and actually vice president under 2 presidents. At the unveiling of the original monument on this very place in the park, the U.S. Secretary of the Interior, Lucius Q. Lamar, a Mississippi lawmaker and formal official of the Confederacy, spoke about Calhoun's views about slavery. And this is what he said: "If I remain silent, it will be taken as an admission that there is one part of Mr. Calhoun's life of which it is prudent for his friends to say nothing to the present generation. Dissimulation and evasion were so foreign to his character that in his own case no one would disapprove and even disdain such silence more than he." This is a man that knew John C. Calhoun. John C. Calhoun was not ashamed of what he thought about slavery. He was proud of it. He wanted everyone to know of it. And so if Charleston is going to honor John C. Calhoun, you need to put up a plaque that ends the silence that Calhoun would have disdained. And as opposed to using words of anybody alive today, why don't we use his own words to tell his true story? John C. Calhoun saw a major difference between white people and black people. This is what he said: "With us, the 2 great divisions of society are not the rich and the poor, but white and black. And all of the former, the poor as well as the rich, belong to the upper class and are respected and treated as equals if they are honest and industrious, and hence have a position and pride of character which neither poverty nor misfortune can deprive them." Those aren't my words. Those are the words of John C. Calhoun. Going back to the plaque language, he defended slavery not as a necessary evil, but as a positive good. Please listen to these words, because he is saying it as clearly as he can, and he is not ashamed.
Am I missing something here?
I hold that in the present state of civilization,
Same thing you are?
where 2 races of different origin and distinguished by color and other physical differences as well as intellectual are brought together, the relation now existing in the slave-holding states between the 2 is, instead of an evil, a good.
I can stand here.
A positive good.
She pushed me here.
He is saying it as clearly as he can. And what I wonder is why so many people today
we're here peaceful.
are afraid of those
We're
words.
here being peaceful.
And finally,
We are here
he
being
believes
peaceful.
that the freedom of one race depended on the bondage of the other.
Yeah, go away.
I fearlessly assert
Go over there.
that the
Don't come near
existing
me.
relation
Public
between
place,
the
buddy.
2 races in the South,
What's wrong with y'all people?
against which these blind
I can't record what's going
fanatics are
on.
waging war, forms the most solid and durable foundation on which to rear free and stable political institutions.
Lewis.
Those are not my words.
Lewis.
Those are the words of John C.
He's not a
Calhoun.
Confederate.
Who cares?
And the last sentence I would recommend on the monument is this: John C. Calhoun was proud of his views. Remember those views when you consider this monument. The fact that you are here and interested and engaged is critically important. America is at a tipping point.
You want a video?
South Carolina
this.
is at a
I can take a
tipping
video of him.
point, especially in
Why is everybody
terms
gonna be a
of
jerk
our
around here?
relationships across
Go over the
racial
other
lines.
side.
We can either do something about it,
You can.
or we can live with the consequences. Thank you very much for being here.
Y'all preach tolerance, but y'all aren't very tolerant of anybody, are you?
Thank you, Jeff. Armin.
Here comes Armand Durfer. As he's coming up, Armand is going to talk a bit about the heritage.
You always got to be a bitch, Rita.
of the state
Always.
legislation, which makes it very difficult to make any modifications on historic monuments that are already in place in South Carolina, which means we're locked into a certain version of history and can't get out of it unless 2/3 of the people sitting in Columbia as our representatives approve of our change. This is a stranglehold on the citizens of this state. And Armand's going to talk a little bit about what's being done to deal with that act. But while Armand is talking, there's people out there who have clipboards.
Excuse me, ma'am.
There are clipboards out somewhere.
That's a beautiful statement.
That have, is it going around? Yes. There's a clipboard that's going around that asks our county legislative delegation, so the folks that represent Charleston County in Columbia, to ask them to hold public hearings to find out what it is the people in this community really want in terms of the interpretation of their history. And so asking that we start with our delegation to start shining a light on what this act really does and the stranglehold it puts on the voices of the people in this community, and also on the possibility of publicizing publicly any kind of accurate history of our community. So Armand, talk away.
Good afternoon. Good to be here and see such a nice group of young, smiling faces. So I'm going to talk a minute or two about statues and then about our Rebel States Heritage Act. The problem with statues is that statues are for
You have no
heroes,
idea who I am.
and South Carolina really doesn't have a lot of
Doing
heroes.
this for no reason.
You take away slavery and the fight against slavery, and Jim Crow and the fight against Jim Crow. We don't have a lot. I mean, you think of heroes as being world famous writers, musicians, scientists, explorers, humanitarians. We don't have it.
They're like children.
Think about it. Think about who famous Jasper Johnson,
Good grief.
There's Ron McNair. Anybody else? Can somebody think of a world famous South Carolinian who belongs on a statue? Dr. Sabin was here for a few years with the polio vaccine, but he didn't come. So that's the problem. So
Oh, so you're
even
telling
if we
me?
had,
I'm sorry, you're telling me this. I don't need to know this, okay? I am educated.
Ron McNair,
Thank you,
mentioned
man.
Ron McNair. He's on a post stand. By the way, Johnson Calhoun is on a post stand too. He's the one cent stand of the Confederate States of America. He's not on the U.S. post.
Does it matter what we
So
do?
that's part of our problem.
Thank you, man.
So
Appreciate
whether
it.
we actually had no heroes or not,
Thank you.
the tendency was to put up slave heroes and Jim Crow heroes, like John C. Calhoun, Van Tillman, even Jimmy Burns is down here in the county council. And those are not heroes. That we got on tape.
Thugs. Y'all are thugging.
But we are stuck with these. Because the other thing about a
Thugs.
statue
You the thud.
is it's the grown-up version of a tattoo.
That's why we can't get anywhere, Lewis.
Now, all of you young people have been told by your parents, like I've told my kids, don't get a tattoo. You'll be sorry later on. Everybody pays no attention to that, gets a tattoo, and then some years later they decide it wasn't that good an idea, and it's hard, painful, or impossible to get it off. Well, that's what we have here. Nobody would put up a statue of John C. Calhoun today, but the tattoo is there, and it makes it hard to get off. And our legislature, our tyrannical legislature in Columbia, has decided to make it not hard, but almost
Lewis is
impossible
mad 'cause he wants
to
it
put
down.
past the Heritage Act. And by the way, the Heritage Act is one in which South Carolina has led the nation. Sort of like secession, we were first with the Heritage Act. After that, Mississippi came along, Alabama, North Carolina, Virginia, a number of the other states that
Thank you.
either are in the old Confederacy or still wish they were.
And I have a right to stand here, right?
Doesn't seem,
Okay, thank you.
laws don't
Thank
seem to
you.
exist in
Thank
the
you.
real United States.
Don't be an apologist, okay?
But, so what do we have here?
Thank you.
The Heritage Act is, the way it
Sorry about
works is that you can't take down or change, rename, or do anything with a war memorial or monument or something on public property named after a person, event, war, or anything without going to the General Assembly in Columbia and getting a 2/3 vote, as it says. So ordinarily, you go to city council and say, what about this statue? Or you
He
go
asked
to
me for
county
$2 for
council
parking
or
when I saw him on the
whatever.
corner.
You can't do that anymore. And so we've been involved in a case
And it
in
reminded him he
Greenwood,
didn't have to
South
pay.
Carolina. In Greenwood, the
be
American
mean to
Legion
you.
in 1928 put up a war memorial to honor the veterans of that area who died in World War I. And in the custom of that house, the names are in two separate lists, white and colored. Which makes me wonder why it shouldn't be colored and the person that's white is a something that doesn't help.
L-I-N-G.
But that's
Look at that guy. What was he?
Dude, how long has he been
after
dead?
World War
What was he?
II, when the
What was he? What was he?
They
Is
added
that a bully?
one plaque
Is that a bully up there?
Still divided by white and color. Well, in the fullness of time, in recent times,
Lewis never
the
disappoints.
American Legion has decided it wants to change that, come into modern ways.
Really?
and-
I'm trying to record that. You can record me all day long after this.
Do it. Take
And
it.
the city council of Greenwood, which usually would have the say, said, yes, we would
Oh,
like
look,
to do
you're
that
not tall
too.
enough.
Oh,
look, yes I am. You're shorter than me by like
No,
a
you're
foot.
Heard that says you have to go to.
You don't touch me now, look.
I touched you. I touched your phone.
So people went to the General
You want to be like that?
And bills were introduced into the Senate with 22 co-sponsors, 23. That's half the Senate. And in the House also with 20 plus co-sponsors. So each of those bills would have sailed through, you would think. The fact is that both bills never saw the
These
light
kids are
of
pretty
day.
stupid these days,
And
aren't
the
they?
reason was that the Speaker of the
Hicks are
House,
stupider.
Jay Lucas,
Oh,
Darlington,
stupider.
South
Oh, okay.
Carolina,
Yeah.
said,
You must go to
"No
college here too,
bill
huh?
is going
Actually,
through dealing with the Heritage Act. Nothing will be changed. Now, why he said that, we don't know. Is he in favor of segregated
Border
plaques?
Patrol, what is the premise?
Is he afraid that the Confederate flag will come down from some world chapel of the Citadel? Is he afraid that Ben Tillman's name will come off the dorm at
Did I give
Clemson?
you permission?
Who knows?
You don't have to
The
give me
fact is
permission.
Yes,
that
I
one
do.
man
No,
Yes,
this
I
is
do.
This is
controls
public space, ma'am.
This
General
is,
Assembly,
I said no.
and
I said
that
no.
controls what the little
can't we
town
all
of
get
Greenwood,
along?
or Charleston, or Lincolnville, or anybody can do in this state. So it's really a form of tyranny, which is interesting from a group that constantly rails about tyranny in Washington. Here they are doing exactly to us, to the people that they do not trust, what they complain about, which is what they do. You know, state legislators oftentimes, not all, are the lowest form of animal life in the animal kingdom. Anyway, so that's where we are. A judge ruled that in
You got
that
it?
case.
I got all their fingers, man.
I'll give you my fucking name to go with
What's your
it.
name, man?
The stats
He knows.
have come
Ask
down
him.
and
What's his
been
name?
replaced.
What's your name?
That's
Oh, come
not to
on.
say-
I thought you were
no,
one of the-
they
oh,
fighting
Messenger.
on and
No, I'm not
fighting on
Messenger.
their right
Messenger.
to
He's
put
This
all
is
the
Robert
fake
Gibson,
flags
okay?
back.
Messenger
This is
is the
Robert
president of
So
the
the fight goes on
$1
here,
succession.
but I
Guys, if you want to
am
have a
heartened how
conversation,
many
let's
young
come on.
people are here,
I showed up by myself.
because you have the control. If you get together with others of your age and mindset, you can run them all out of Columbia and can do things right the way they ought to be done. Amen. And let the people say,
South Carolina's
Amen.
is Florida.
let me just add
Just
one last
defunct.
thing about the absurdity of,
They no longer
of
rise.
naming buildings or putting tattoos on statues. I had a case once in Baltimore, and as I sat in the federal courthouse in Baltimore, it was named the Edward A. Garmatt Federal Building. Edward A. Garmatt was the congressman in that area. And a friend of mine told me the building, which was 1 year old, had just had its 1 year anniversary the day before by having Edward A. Garmatt indicted in his very own building. So maybe that's the fate that awaits John C. Calhoun. But the power is all in your hands, and if you get together, you're more powerful than a group of overage guys in Columbia. I wish you well.
Fuck Nazis!
Yeah!
Yeah.
Idiot.
Fuck Confederate!
Brian.
They're all dead, sir.
Not you.
Let's
Yet.
welcome Brian Hicks. Welcome. Then we're going to start our day reading Brian. Now you get to see him in person. And
we'll take this thing down.
To have an opportunity to tell you
Yeah.
about his
Take
work
it
in the
down.
book about
Uh-huh.
lady swearing. He does have one
Yeah,
copy.
okay, yeah.
So if you want to find out who gets to buy that copy, right up there.
What about you?
Yeah. So,
How you doing?
I don't see people hands who wear the Confederate flag. Okay.
Thank y'all for having me.
It's because he's racist.
I appreciate it.
I know.
Unfortunate. Are you
Asked me to come here and tell you a little bit
Are you
about,
serious? That's what he just said. Unfortunate. That's what he just said.
Now he got
I mean, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with him? He just said unfortunate.
he got a different
which
concept
is
for
what
it.
you see at
Oh,
Calhoun.
what concept?
Come on over here. If y'all gonna talk to
You can find people all over Charleston today
Sorry.
who will tell you that the reason
This guy never
I
disappoints.
ain't you're right.
Radio gold.
Shouldn't go nowhere.
because
Right.
people were mad that he divorced his wife for 30 years. So that's why he was shot. That's why he was run out.
Yeah, I
Let me
mean,
tell you a little bit
serious.
about what
his
Judge
asshole.
Waring
Oh,
actually did.
listen. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
When he was appointed to the federal bench by FDR, his first major case was to equalize the pay between black and white teachers.
This is crazy.
At the time, black teachers with similar experience to white teachers were making about 60% what their counterparts did. I don't think it's an accident that works out to 3/5. Judge Waring made Charleston equalize salaries, and then he did it in Columbia.
Hey,
And then
he
a
was
year
a
later,
Confederate.
he
He
told
died
the
before
University of
that.
South Carolina Law School that
He wasn't Confederate slave owner.
American students, or by the Jim Crow laws of our day, you can build a separate law school for them somewhere else. But that would be pretty stupid, now wouldn't it? He said you can throw up a few desks and chairs and you're good. But instead, they built a whole new law school at us in the state.
He's got their dates.
And thousands and thousands of dollars to keep white and black people apart. My own newspaper was for this plan. They said that
That's probably the best thing I've been called today.
Segregation, which has always been a white supremacist greatest.
I got my hands up, right?
Interesting note, one of the early students at SC State, girlfriend was Essie Mae Washington, the daughter of Strom Thurmond and a product of miscegenation. But Strom was so upset about some of the things that Waring did, he actually ran for president as a Dixiecrat on the platform of segregation. And let me tell you what Judge Waring did that made them all so mad. He told the Democratic Party that black people could vote. They had been holding a white primary since the 1890s when Ben Tillman rewrote the state constitution. And South Carolina knew what was happening. The Supreme Court had stepped in and told Texas and Georgia they couldn't do that. And in response, South Carolina had stripped all election laws from its books, thinking that would protect them. But Judge Waring told them it was time to rejoin the Union. You can imagine how that was. So anyway, state legislature bought the judge and his new wife tickets one way out of the state. Congress tried to impeach him. The Ku Klux Klan shot up his house, bombarded it. But he stayed and he kept going because he was doing something else. He was working with the NAACP and Thurgood Marshall. And he turned a little separate but equal case into a lawsuit that challenged the notion of segregation throughout schools. And you know that case today is Brown versus Board of Education. He took 5 years of grief and abuse, threats, and attacks. President Truman had to send in marshals and guardians. But he stuck with it. And because it's the right thing to do. And I think you guys should pay attention to that lesson and keep fighting. And it made a difference.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks again, everyone, for turning out. It's so important that we keep this issue alive. The issue's not easy. If there's an easy solution, it would have been fixed already. It's going to take conversation, it's going to take work, it's going to take perseverance, it's going to take resilience. But I see that out there right now. And I know that there are 5 or 6 people behind each one of you that's here. And I hope you keep talking about this, keep voting with this in mind. Get everybody you know registered by October 7th. Get everybody you know out to vote on November 6th. And everyone, participate in this process, because we need to reclaim the past in order to put the present together so that we can have the future that's really the beloved community that we all want and all deserve. Thank you very much.
Alright, so how do you feel about this rally?
But by the end of the day, this last year, this is over.
Right.
By the end of the day,
You got speakers already?
Do you mind if I ask you about your beliefs?
Sure.
I'm a South Carolinian. I've lived here all my life. I was born in Conway, South Carolina, and my dad was from the same hometown. I grew up going to the church that he went to. And no part of my growing up celebrated white supremacy.
Me either.
Exactly. Now, when I read this,
Well,
truth and justice,
I
did
don't.
not call you fat, ma'am.
I don't.
What is
I'm
the
not
truth?
necessarily here for him.
Okay.
This is going to be a trend that's going to start happening to Confederate monuments around here. That's what
Everybody, get over
they're
here.
starting easy and then they're working in hard. Everybody was a slave owner a long time ago. Come on.
Right.
You can't just start tearing it down, though.
Yeah, but we should change the conversation to be about how that is a problem, and how, because when people think of America, they think of all the greatness that's occurred. But there's really two sides to it, and there's a huge problem that we're denying a lot of people who come from that past.
Yeah.
And I think it's wrong for us to still have memorials that sympathize with these views that white people are better than black people.
But this isn't really. Did you hear all the things that he's done? He was vice president twice. He did all this stuff for the state. Why can't we celebrate that? And they're going to put they want to put up something to say, well, he was a slave owner, he was an evil man. That's fine and dandy, but he also did great things. Well, you can't just say, well, screw him because he owned slaves, but then we just erase everything back then because it was everywhere. You can't do that.
Yeah, well, it's not erasing. I think the point is to not celebrate, because this is celebratory,
Yeah, well,
We're raising him above everybody else. And look, he's like looking down on all of us and all the people that suffer here, I mean, think about the shooting at Mother Emanuel on Calhoun Street.
Yeah.
The name of a person who celebrates white supremacy.
Well, that was normal back then. That's what you got to say. You can't say, because right now, obviously, that's terrible. But back then, it was normal. So who are we to judge him for what happened way back then when it was normal? Well, it was normal, idiot.
Well, no,
Everybody did.
we should.
Well, I say that. My family didn't. My Confederate family didn't own slaves.
Exactly. So, like, for me, when I think of being Southern, I think of singing hymns in church. I think of my brother who plays old-time fiddle and banjo.
Black Lives Matter. Black Lives.
A music that comes from here. I feel like there's so much more to celebrate about the South than its bad past. And I don't understand why we don't do that.
This has just been standing here
Black Lives Matter.
forever.
What do you always say matter?
every life matters. Every life
Oh, look. There you go.
matters. Every life, every
Hey, exactly. And they don't like hearing that.
Every opinion matters. Every life matters. Every opinion matters. Everything matters.
Oh, she didn't like your message, so she's taking her sign.
No, I'm trying to leave. I've been down here.
I've been down here longer than you.
I know, because you're an idiot.
No, you're down here because of me.
Why are you associating with treason?
I'm not. It wasn't treason. Still isn't today. What was California trying to do?
What? You know, John.
What was California trying to do? What was California trying to do? They were trying to secede, right?
He was a libertarian, dude. He was
They're
a
to
fucking
secede.
idiot.
They're going to secede, right? They want to
No,
secede.
they're not going to secede.
They wanted to. Now you're in trouble. Oh, invading personal spaces.
You do, of course, see what they're doing to you, holding the camera in your face.
No, he was. Well, he was like this. Yeah, man, that's a bit ridiculous.
But that is the same thing.
Yeah, like nobody's got a problem when somebody's like this, but when somebody goes up and gets like this, that's crazy.
Funny thing is, it's him wearing that. Taking a camera on it.
Every Sunday, these right here, this one, those two.
He's not listening anymore. You lost your audience.
I got a big audience, dude.
You think you did.
I know I do.
Well, then where are they at every Sunday?
How many people do you have out there?
I don't care how many. I'll be out there by myself every day. It doesn't matter. You don't under. It doesn't matter. It's not a numbers competition.
What is it?
Why are you there?
I'm counter protesting you.
Well, that's pretty stupid.
I don't like the Confederate flag.
I'm there paying tribute to my family that fought because you idiots are pulling down statues and telling them they're evil people when they weren't. That's all I'm there for. I will be there. I'm quiet. I don't mess with anybody. I could just stand there all day long by myself. It doesn't matter. But you gotta come. You gotta come and bring a circus with you and make a spectacle.
Why don't you go to the cemetery and lay with them and feel their spirit and commune with
I go visit them all the time.
Why do you do that in a public space with a flag that you know is racist?
It's not racist.
It is racist.
It's not racist.
The truth is the truth. The man that spoke that you found.
After 2 years, this is the best you
Why
got.
do you come to the banner?
It's the best you
Why
got.
don't you go to the cemetery with
I
the
do.
relatives and commune with them there? Why don't you do that? How are you honoring
Oh
them
my
when you're on
God.
your own?
Fort Sumter, they claim is a Yankee place now.
Why do you have to come to the Confederate dollar? Can you answer that?
And the thing is, when the war, listen, when the war was fought, it was the Union and the Confederacy.
Yeah.
I believe in any war, if you lose the war, you gotta throw down your flag, leave it alone.
But
Damn
you
right.
know what? One of the people that supported them had the right statement. He came by and he told us, he said, those Confederate soldiers, they were second to none.
I can't deal with these lies no more. Look at this lady for 4 or 5 hours every weekend, and this is the best she's got. That's sad.
But I mean, what's sad is that we're trying to have dialogue with you. So like, what is your purpose or what do you want to get from being here? Like, did you want to put out a message?
Being here?
Yeah.
I just want to see what the trend is, because what they do, he's not Confederate. I don't really care. But he did do things. Like I said, he was vice president. He did a lot of stuff for the state.
Right.
But this is going to set a precedent for what happens to Confederate stuff around here.
Right.
That's what I'm concerned about.
And why are you concerned? Do you feel like they need to stay up?
Yes, of course.
Why?
Because they were put there in tribute for people who died.
Died.
People who died.
Wait. Let him finish. Well, they died, and do you understand that these people that were put up died because they were trying to preserve slavery?
So you're going to say my family didn't know the slaves were trying to preserve slavery? They were fighting because they were being invaded.
No,
They didn't know. Come on now, this isn't the internet. They didn't have the internet back then. They didn't know what was happening.
Why they were fighting, and the people that started.
And we know now why the Confederate, it was the Union versus the Confederacy, and it was protect the economy of the South, and the economy of the South was slavery.
Unfortunately, yes, it was. But
Really
let's say it was over.
unfortunately.
Can we say that it was over taxes and not because they made their money? They made their money on the backs of slavery because there was no other way to make that much money. That's how they got all their slave. They had slaves.
That's not okay. So that's why
But-
why should I have to? Because come down here and enjoy a park where I already know that my ancestors were slaves and look at a statue of a man that's held in reverence that owned slaves.
Well, I just said he's not Confederate. He's not part of my agenda.
But he owned slaves and was an advocate for slavery.
Okay.
That's a part of your that agenda.
Well, my family didn't own slaves.
It's okay. That's fine. I'm not saying that who did or didn't.
Yeah.
Nobody now is owning anybody. That's not. I'm not up for debate for that part because that's not relevant now. The relevant. What I'm trying to get across is that these people own slaves, were advocates for slavery, and that is oppressing a whole group of people in a humankind kind of way. And we want to keep this up because he was the vice president at a time where
You got to take the good with the bad.
Well, we pretty much took the good with the bad for a really long time, so now we want this gone so that we can move forward in good.
You can't just take everything down. When's it going to stop? Everybody.
When everything is down.
Everything
It should
all the way
stop
back from the start?
Yes, from the start.
That's
because you wouldn't
ridiculous.
even, this country that you're wanting to make so great wouldn't be great without the black people.